Welcome to 5 Minutes VHDL Podcast, the podcast where we talk about VHDL and hardware design. In this podcast, I want to answer to some question that some guy that asked me what is the flow, the design flow for VHDL design. So, first of all, I want to remember to many of you that ask me to send the VHDL code in textual format, that the VHDL file are ASCII file. the VHDL file are text file with the extension .vhd. But we have to open this file with a simple text editor. I use Notepad++ that allow you to use syntax highlight to open the VHDL file. This is just to answer to many of you that ask me, please send me the test bench in a textual format. Is already in a textual format. So, in the episode description, I will put the link of the editor I use to edit my VHDL file. Well, the design flow can be summarized in the picture that you can find in the Telegram channel. We can summarize the VHDL design flow in 10 steps. Okay, the first can be trivial, but the first step and the most important step is to understand the requirement. I stressed this concept since the first episode of this podcast, but for what I see both in my job experience and from the mail I received from you asking me to help you in some design activity, I understand that the requirement often is not well understood. So, first step, understand the requirement. Second one is to make a high-level description of what you want to do. With an high-level description, I mean you can draw your architecture, take a piece of paper and draw the architecture of your design if the design is complex. But the complexity depends on who are designing what. I mean, for a newbie in VHDL, a counter can be a very complex design. For a senior engineer, a modem could be something that it's difficult to design, but you don't have to go very deep in the description of the architecture. So it depends on who are designing what. So understand the requirement, high-level description, and then only after these two steps, you can start coding. You can start VHDL coding. So start coding each block of your design and simulate each block. To simulate your VHDL design, we saw in the previous episode how to use ModelSim to simulate. After simulation, if the simulation is okay, you can start the design flow on Fpga. We are assuming, of course, that we are designing something to put our design into an Fpga. So you have to use the synthesis and layout tool for your Fpga, and then generally you can jump this step. I mean, after the layout, you can generate the post layout VHDL or Verilog netlist and simulate the post layout. What is the post layout netlist? Is a VHDL netlist, structural netlist that your layout or synthesizer, if you want to check the post synthesis, not post layout, post synthesis netlist to verify if your synthesis is correct. So, if your structural netlist behave like your RTL VHDL coding netlist. After simulation that, as I said before, you can jump this step. You can test the design on Fpga. Of course, if the post-simulation is not okay, you have to reloop on your design, updating your VHDL and simulate again your VHDL and lay out again your design. If these steps are okay, you can test on Fpga. Testing on Fpga, if the test is okay, of course you have finished. If the test is not okay, you have to start again this loop. Of course, this is the steps are not so complex. The complexity is to make work these steps, because each of these steps can be very expensive in terms of time. So, summarizing, you have to understand the requirement and describe an high-level architecture of your design. After that, you can code your VHDL and simulate each block of the VHDL, and then simulate all the block connected together using a test bench. After that, you can lay out your design using the layout tools, Quartus 2 for Altera Intel, or Vivado for Xilinx FPGA, or Libro SoC if you are using, for example, Smart Fusion of Microsemi, and so on. Lay out your FPGA. Optionally, you can simulate the post layout netlist and then test on your FPGA. And that's it. It's not so complex. Okay, I hope I asked to this question. In the episode description, you will find the link to the picture and to the editor. And see you on the next episode. Ciao.